The video and audio footage of what happened to Athena Strand was played at Tanner Horner's trial today for the jury, and it left them in tears. First of all, Texas Ranger Job Espinoza was called to the stand, and he testified that he saw in the video footage Horner covering the front-facing camera at 4:09 p.m. and then arriving at the Strand house at 5:30 p.m. When asked about the footage after Horner uncovered the camera, specifically with regard to Athena's clothing, Espinoza said, quote, "I observed, I believe some of the clothing went into a bag, and then I also observed the defendant placing what looked to be underwear and pants into the backpack. You see him unzipping it and putting them inside the backpack, which we later located at his residence. And when Horner uncovered the camera, he was cleaning up his Fedex van at a gas station." Now I'm going to tell you what was reported on about the video and audio footage. It shows Tanner Horner arriving to Athena's house, and when he gets there, he's seen walking by his driver's side window with Athena walking behind him. He's seen opening the truck with her standing next to him, and then after closing his passenger door, she's still standing by the truck. He's then seen picking her up and putting her into the truck before closing the door. He whispered something and moved her from near the back of the door to the front, and then Athena is heard asking her, "Are you a kidnapper?" Horner ordered her to sit down and sit back and to not scream or that he'll hurt her. Athena asked multiple times if he was a kidnapper and asked where they were going, and Horner told her to sit down and that it didn't matter. He then covered the camera, and the rest is just from audio. At that point, Horner was making small talk, asking about Athena's age, where she goes to school, her teachers' names, etc. At one point, Horner said to Athena, "You're really pretty, you know that?" The truck stopped, and then Athena asks, "Is this your house?" And Horner replied, "No, I don't live around here." The truck moves again, and then when it stops again, Athena asks, "What are we doing?" And Horner says, "Hang out for a minute." Horner is then heard asking Athena to remove her shirt, and there are several moments where she says no and asks for her mom. And then she is heard crying, screaming, and there's banging heard. That is all the detail that I'm going to share, but as a reminder, at the start of the trial, prosecutors noted that she fought against this man as hard as she could, and that can clearly be heard in the audio. After the final video evidence was shown, the state or the prosecutors rested their case. Court was adjourned for the day and will not be back in session until Wednesday, when the defense will be presenting their case. And as a reminder, it seems like Tanner Horner and the defense are playing on the mental health aspect of his defense. And then next week, it could be going to the jury to decide his sentence. But it's easy to imagine after hearing this audio what the jury will decide.
Don't look down, Tanner. Isn't that a picture of you and the same little girl you kidnapped? The worst part about this photo for me is the fact that this little girl has no idea what's about to happen to her. Trial of Tanner Horner just started, day 2. If you're unaware of this case, Tanner Horner, now 34, was charged back in 2022 with the murder of 7-year-old Athena Strand. At the time, he was a FedEx driver dropping off a package to her dad's location where she was staying. He alleged that he accidentally hit Athena by backing into her with the van, panicked, put her in the car. And now with the trial starting, it's very clear that that did not happen. Tanner, in fact, picked up Athena, put her in the vehicle, unalived her, and then dumped her nude body in water. Although yesterday on day 1, Tanner decided to plead guilty, they still have to go through the trial to determine if he's getting the death penalty. I felt compelled to talk about this case because I'm seeing a lot of talk saying you need to teach your kids stranger danger. Yes, that is 100% true, but please keep in mind this was a 7-year-old who was picked up and placed in the vehicle. Just because a still image does not show distress does not mean this child wasn't terrified. I think sometimes we think things or say things that unintentionally turn into victim blaming. Athena appears to not be in distress, so we think, what could she have done differently? And the solution needs to be focused on the predators.
Did you hear about that FedEx driver that strangled that 7-year-old little girl? Yeah, I did, and apparently they're saying he's autistic, so I hope the jury goes easy on him. What? No, your autism is not an excuse to act any type of way without any type of consequence. He's doing that to avoid the death penalty. Yeah, but if he's autistic, it's not fair or legal to give him the death penalty because he doesn't understand what he's doing. No, he fully understands. That's why he did what he did. He was scared of the consequences he knew he was going to have, so he made the impulsive choice to kidnap this girl and unalive her. You do realize Tanner pled guilty to the crimes that he was accused of, right? So all he's trying to do is have a fair and appropriate consequence for his actions. Fair and appropriate, just like how it's fair for that grown man at 250 pounds to take on a 7-year-old girl at 67 pounds. Kind of like that. You know, I hope no one like you is serving on the jury because Tanner deserves justice as an autistic man. And you know what? I do hope there's people like me serving on the jury because Athena deserves justice. Are you kidding me? Honestly, be so for real.